Let's see how much information we can get into the shortest possible time. We will end with a complete but short and vivid picture of the full communication process, whether you're talking interpersonally or addressing a group or a class. You remember, or can certainly understand, this diagram we worked with at the beginning of the class, in which we put a water bottle just like that one in front of the class and invited everyone in the class to describe it. Of course, they came up with many more words than were on this list, and we realized that the explanation for having perhaps 20 different words or symbols and only one thing was that our worldview or perception or perspective differed from person to person. This relationship was formally set out about a century ago in a diagram called the semiotic triangle, or semantic triangle, or you might find it called the triad of meaning or the triangle of meaning. Semiotic triangle is perhaps the best term because it is directly derived from the work of the great American philosopher Charles Sanders Peirce, who invented semiotics, or the study of how signs and symbols relate to what we're trying to mean. Once again, this is in place even with straightforward symbols you think are unambiguous. Certainly it's possible for different people to interpret or see or perceive and think about what this sign refers to. So, in simplified terms, there's a world of words, there's a world that the words refer to, and we are what bring those worlds together. Our minds, our interpretation, our thoughts, ideas, and perceptions bring those worlds together in our own way. Or in plain but untechnical language, there's that exact relation. There's a direct connection between our perception and the symbol we choose. There's a direct connection between our perception and what we're trying to refer to. But the link between the word and what it refers to isn't direct. It goes through us. So to present a simple picture of what's going on when we're trying to communicate with somebody else, a speaker to an audience or you to somebody else, you are each bringing your own interpretations, backgrounds, worldviews, perceptions to the table. You're each dipping into a common pool of communication techniques and tools and abilities in an effort to refer together to the same things or the same world. Now that's different from a model you've probably seen a version of, because some version of it is in most American textbooks. This is the telecommunications model, in which we have an information source sending a message to a transmitter, the signal goes to the receiver and the destination, and in the revised model there is also feedback to the information source to make sure that the message is sent. We see this used, originally designed to mathematically quantify electrical transmission of information. We see it used as an analogy for human communication in virtually every American textbook, and as a simple model for simple communication situations. It's perfectly adequate. And here's one of 100 examples of what happens when we try to put the complexity of a public speaking situation, or two people from different cultures or religious beliefs or political perspectives together, and try try to explain in one simple model what they're doing and why they might misunderstand each other. Here we have the telecommunications model, and here it's going both ways. And there's the word context, which could be historical or social context, and environment, etc. So in trying to take what is a simple model for electrical communication and make it work for all of human interaction, the model gets pretty complicated. So let's return to our clearer and simpler model, in which we have a world of communication behaviors or actions that we can take with symbols to refer to a world. And if we look at that and simply tilt it, we see that we can reconcile it quite easily with the more standard telecommunications model, just like this. And this is probably the clearest and most detailed image in the fewest possible words that I can come up with to illustrate what's going on when we speak to someone else or try to address an audience in a public speaking situation. When the audience and us share so much of our culture, background, worldview, and perception in common, communication feels as natural as breathing. And really all we need is a simple model that was originally designed to explain electrical transmission of information from one telephone to another. But when we run into misunderstandings, it's perfectly obvious from this model that we are perhaps choosing different symbols or words or behaviors to refer to different things. Or perhaps one of us is referring to something that the other one doesn't even think is real. And that is the shortest explanation I can give, and the most comprehensive one, of what's going on in a dynamic communication process between people or between a speaker and an audience.